Good morning. I thought we'd get more people here today. That's the way it goes. There are few iconic, large-scale sculptural landmarks in our valley. The ones that I can think about are the Frank Lloyd Wright Spire on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, the immense fountain in Fountain Hills, and the light towers of South Mountain. That's what I'm thinking of as sculptural elements, you know. These are place markers that let people know where they are in the valley, defining their particular space for future generations. The Frank Lloyd Wright Spire is a beacon for me, as I have a gallery in Carefree, and when I would drive home at night, I could see the spire from a couple miles away, letting me know that's Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. I'm coming up, I'll be there soon. And I like that. And that's what kind of inspired me about this too, you know, driving down Happy Valley Road, I want to go, there's Lake Pleasant Parkway. There's my sculpture. There's Blooming Spire, my sculpture. So that was my inspiration, really was that. So then I designed the sculpture to act like a beacon for both day and nighttime viewing, built on the grand scale to be seen from quite a distance away, and destined to become a future iconic landmark for the city of Peoria. Blooming Spire is based on the organic shapes of some of our indigenous desert plants, including blooms of the Hesperalo, blooms of aloe vera, there's a close-up, ocotillo. They all have that kind of rounded shape, and that was definitely an inspiration for me. The sculpture, and this is the model, where's my bag? There's a little guy in here says, "Let me out." Okay, so that shows you the scale, which is really important. So, and scale is important. You know, the Frank Lloyd Wright Spire is 110 feet tall, although it doesn't seem like that because it goes to a point, you know. And to me, it seems like it should have been bigger, but they couldn't because of the planes. You know, I mean, it was destined to be on top of a church or a building they designed, I think, for downtown Phoenix, but it never came to fruition. So anyway, this sculpture right here is designed to be 50 feet tall, which fits in within the budget. It's not too big to overwhelm the space, tall enough to be a landmark and to be seen from quite a distance away. So it measures 50 feet tall and 12 foot wide. The central core of the sculpture is a 48-foot long by 10-inch aluminum tubing, thick wall. It would be made in 3 sections. And welded to the tube are 150 1-inch aluminum tubes that are welded and drilled into holes. I don't know if you notice it, but it's actually, we're curving several different ways on this sculpture. It's curving like this on the outside. It's also curving vertically this way, so that there's really no straight lines, which is important to me. So they're actually welded on vertical curves. They change pitch as well, like an aloe vera, that they're down and then they kind of go up like this. So it's really kind of the idea of blooming. It's growth, it's moving forward. And so there are 5 vertical sets with about 30 tubes each that are made on this. It was fun laying this out, let me tell you. It was, it was a lot of work. And then the entire framework would be powder coated, and the reason is because if it's aluminum, after about 5 or 6 years, just plain aluminum can get spotty. It just doesn't look new, but a powder coat finish lasts much longer, and it can be cleaned easier, and although I like the look of aluminum, the color would be aluminum powder coated. And then attached to the 1-inch tubes are 150 cast fiberglass shapes that are about 2 foot long and 10 inches deep. And this is not what they would look like. This is just an idea for scale. These are little vacuum form shapes. I want to show you they're about that big, okay? And so this one has got a texture on it, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. And so they're actually made out of two hollow pieces of fiberglass, okay? And with a faceted texture and frosted finish so that they transmit, reflect, and refract prismatic light. That's why they're not clear. They're frosted so they actually capture the light, both during the day and at night. So I have it that the blooming spire will be installed in the middle of a 24-foot diameter circle. Okay, and if you look on your plan there, what I kind of envision is that there's an existing walkway between the two restaurants, that we expand the walkway out, and I'm not sure how far, but let's say it was this far, 15 feet, and then a 24-foot diameter plaza where the sculpture is situated. And when I talked to Andre, we're going to remove cactus, trees, so that the view has a better point of view from Lake Pleasant Parkway and Happy Valley Road as well. And of course the sculpture is engineered with footings to withstand the highest of winds in the Peoria area. Okay, we need to put the...
I'd like to just say one thing about public art and sculptures, that a lot of times artists do an amazing job in creating a rendition or an image of a sculpture, but they don't have the experience, the engineering, and the background to make it of any kind of magnitude or into a public arena to have any kind of a lifetime lasting capability. Not only has Jeff done several monumental sculptures, the horse out at Westworld, if you look at the engineering of all of the pieces of aluminum tubing are quite spectacular, is many times the city of Scottsdale has contacted him because they had chosen a public art piece and the artist did not know how to actually execute what it is that they envisioned. So one of the things I think is important to understand when you're looking at public art is that do they actually have that experience, the expertise to have that ability to execute so that it is successful, it's on budget, on time, and that when the public views it, they see it in the magnitude that the city actually represented it. So I just wanted to bring up the experience and expertise that you actually would have if you were to choose Jeff, the artist.
Okay, we built a nighttime shroud here to show you. Yeah. There we go. You know, although there's ambient light in that area, it is still quite dark. And this is why I wanted to show you that these actually capture the light, the blooms. And so what I have here are 6 lights. It might be 5, it might be 8. You know, we have to do a 3D model with light fixtures to see what they actually would perform. This is my concept. I think it would probably work, but so let's see. So lighting is the nighttime essential element of this sculpture, not only acting like a beacon for passerbys in their cars, but also people will be able to experience it from up close in the plaza and shopping center. So, you know, you can walk right up to this thing. I also have this right here at 9'6", so you can't touch it. And again, durable. They're not glass, they're fiberglass. You could throw a bat at them, you could throw a ball, a rock, it's just gonna bounce off. So the types of lights that will be employed are very bright with saturated color designed for commercial applications like tall architectural buildings. And the fixtures are waterproof, outdoor rated, and quite durable. They'll last for more than 50,000 hours of use, about 30 hours. And the lights will be programmed in advance for any kind of special events or holidays. Change during weekends, and could also depict the 4 seasons, such as spring could be general shades of green, summer red and purple, fall could be yellow and orange, winter could be tonalities of blue and white. Of course, Christmas, it could be red and green. The lights can be static, in other words, not moving. The lights slowly evolving and color changing, or they can be programmed for, say, 1 different color per night per week, and the weekend could be something more special. See, for me, so let me, what I did at Westworld, for instance, is that generally the horse is white. It changes from a warm white to a cool white during the week. And on Friday and Saturday nights, it changes to either a red or a green or a multitude of colors. And so what I think is this kind of sculpture would be important is you save the great show for special events. So you have like a holiday event party, there's something's happening down on this mall area. Okay, we have a controller that would be inside one of the buildings that has maybe 5 settings, and we have only so many people are involved with changing that, you know what I mean? But then we can go, number 5 is spectacular. It color changes like you can't believe. Number 4 is it changes from red to blue to purple. So maybe Friday and Saturday night, it starts at, in the wintertime, it might start at 5, and then it ends at 11. Or maybe you want it to end at 1 o'clock. It doesn't matter. I can program anything like that on a global clock. And it'll automatically start and stop every single day, whatever time we want it to do that. So, like right now, you can see it's doing various things. And so, for instance, okay, all right. Oh, great. Yeah.
No batteries.
Chinese lights. Oh, this one. There we go. All right. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I should have just left it. Well, you can see that I can color change here, and why this one's not working here, I have no idea.
There have been color changes.
Okay,
Yeah.
you can see it's really quite dynamic, and in fact, if you look at the photos here, I took these in my studio. That's what they look like. I didn't enhance them, I just took a picture of them. They're that intensely bright. But they can also be less bright, and also it can be white. I want you guys to notice that too, sorry that you can't see that over here. That, you know, again, I'm a true believer, this is not a nightclub. You know, this is a sculpture. It's a sculpture that's a lit sculpture. And I think if we use it as, make it particular so that it's like this candy color stuff, this could be on that special occasion where, wow, you gotta go see, that's tonight only, or this weekend only, or for this week, or something like that. It makes it a special event and draws people to it. And then again, the colors could change any way you want them. So, all right, one more last chance, you mother. Oh well. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Where's my briefcase? Is it? Oh, sorry. I wanted to show you what the blooms are made out of, and these are just ideas, but here's a faceted gem, and you see how the light's going through that? We're seeing through that, and it's a frosted light finish. That's what I'm trying to achieve here, that this will capture the light and really look 3D, okay? So, you know, this is how I made these. These are actually laser cut acrylic that I had to grind each one. But I like the idea that there's facets. Okay, so, but I'm thinking looking more like that. You know what I mean? Very clean looking, carved into the mold. So what I would do, of course, is do several samples and find out which one really captures the light, which is really the best. I'd probably make 5 or 6 of them, see which works, because we're putting 2 halves together and to see how they interact. So I wanted to show you that, because like here's a round one that doesn't do as much, you know, but this one, it really intrigues me. I think that's just, you can just see it. It's spectacular, really prism-like quality. So that's that. All right. Okay. So I wanted to say that the fiberglass blooms are made with resin that has UV inhibitors and is as durable as a CalWall system. And this CalWall system they've been using in buildings for like 80 years. It's fiberglass, it has insulation in between it, and they use it as lighting, to let light into buildings, and it's incredibly durable. I'll be using the same kind of system as that. And so, or also you can relate it to a Corvette. The Corvette body is fiberglass that is incredibly durable, and so it'll be the same kind of, it'll probably be about 1/8 to 3/16 thick, 2 halves put together, resin together. And there's no lights inside the sculpture, which is really a functional aspect. I started off thinking about that, of putting lights in, but this is so much better because if you have to replace one of these, it's super simple. You just take it out and put a new one in, you know. Or you get a new light switch and you try to turn it on since that was not working. The plaza will have all the electrical conduit and in-ground boxes installed before the footing, slab, and walkway is poured into the cement, of course. The various sculptural elements will be, so this is the installation process. The various sculptural elements will be delivered on site in a flatbed truck, assembled on site, hoisted into place with a crane. So that'd probably take 6, 7 guys, probably do it in 1 long day or maybe 2 days. So experience. Critical functions of public art are the fabrication, installation, maintaining timeline, and staying on budget. I can proudly state that I have a reputation for being organized, a team collaborator, prepared, on time, and always within budget. All told, I'm an experienced Arizona artist who has lived here for more than 30 years and whose vision corresponds with that of the city of Peoria. And I am particularly adept at planning and executing large-scale projects that not only achieve but exceed their goals. I think that Blooming Spire will become a landmark and an iconic sculpture for the city of Peoria that will draw people to the site and become a meeting place where everyone will want to make a social connection with their space, their friends, the city, the sculpture, and maybe even the world. Questions? Yes?
So the pods or the where you're going to be hollow inside?
Yeah. Yes.
The second question I had is, do you envision seating around the bottom?
I've thought about that, yes. And I'd be more than happy to incorporate that in. There's maybe like 2 or 3 cement benches that follow that. I just haven't really come up with a design that would be there yet. Because I'd probably rather not do something off the shelf. I'd rather make them or design something different about them. Yep. Because also I didn't put them on because maybe you don't want people sitting out there. I wasn't sure, but certainly could be added. Yep. In fact, I wouldn't mind working with the landscapers because they're going to be tearing out the trees, cactus, and that. I wouldn't mind working with them to maybe dress up that circle a little bit. So maybe there's some agaves or some of the plants that we take out, we put them around the circle so it looks more like it was designed like that instead of just plopped. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for coming today.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. One, you were mentioning like controlling the lights.
Yeah.
And you had remote controls, but
No, but not here.
that was the clarification.
Yeah.
So it would be controlled on site at the property.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The best way would be, since it's a mall there and there's the 2 restaurants, what happens, I'm glad you asked. So basically you have the lights and they're wired. They're hardwired underground. And then one goes to the first box is a power supply, okay? And I'm gonna make the same analogy as my sculpture that's at Westworld. This is how we did it there. So we have a box that's like this big with a lock and key that has the power supply in it, because it can only go so many feet. Now, it's because I had a distance problem there, I had to put that outside, and then I ran more cables, and then inside of the Equidome is where my controller is. In this aspect, it might be nice if we could put both those boxes inside, possibly like a janitorial room of one of the restaurants, or we build a box on the outside of the building, that's just my box, that's accessed with a key, which would be a great way. So we'll have to just figure that out. You know, I would want to do minimal saw cutting into where the buildings are, but I bet we can find a place that would be easy enough that we could have that box either external or run it through the wall internal.
But it's not manually controlled, like it would be through a timer, right?
Yeah.
Timer.
Yeah, well this is, I should have brought one. This is a digital timer. Okay. It's a digital, actually encoded computer. So this is the brain. There is a brain that's in a box. That's a locked box. So it's only whoever has the key, because you don't want anybody who's changing, I want the 5 tonight, you know what I mean? You can't do that. So we just find out who is the person in charge of that. So in this particular scenario, there's like 5 programs. They can be changed at any time, but they're 5 programs. So that might be a good place to start. Number 1 is blah, number 1 is white. Number 2 is lime, green, red, slow transition from one color. I mean, and these things can transition, take an hour. So it could be red, and then you drove back, you go, I thought that was red, now it's yellow. And it's a slow transition. All those things are no problem to program. I'm really good at that. Or it can go really fast if you have some kind of thing like, all right, tonight is like New Year's Eve, we're gonna do this, pow! I mean, this thing it would be incredible. It'd be absolutely dynamically incredible because of the way it's gonna capture the light. So anyway, all in that box, you hit a button and it'll stay on that. Or I could program, I go, okay, Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday, it's gonna be white. Friday, it's gonna be red and blue. Saturday, it's gonna be blue to green. And Sunday, maybe it's just soft, it could be kind of pastel colors. Pinks, if you want. Pinks and yellows and oranges and the most pretty colors. I mean, I love like those candy colors there. Those I got from, I mean, again, I didn't enhance that. That's a picture I took of this model when the lights were working. Yeah.
And all that can be automated. People don't have to come up on Monday to change it by Friday to change it for the Saturday. It's all be automated. It's like irrigation system.
It's just like irrigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Westworld, we have not changed it. They haven't touched it. Although I've said, we can do something. Now we just like it how it is. But so I would be more than happy to be available because it's my baby to come out. Like, look, we're going to do something in a couple months. Can we do something totally different? You bet, of course. Yeah.
So we're down over in Scottsdale, right? So it's not reasonable.
I'm sorry?
And you're just over in Scottsdale, so we have access to you.
Yeah, it took me 40 minutes. So I can come out, it doesn't take very long at all.
So without those being internally lit, have you built something at this scale? Because I start to wonder, light's going to have a fall off the further the distance is. So how are you addressing and what's going to happen to that as light gets up, especially to the tip where there's one in the peak there?
Right.
Light is only going in a straight line, so how is it going to hit that center one? How is that being directed?
Great question, because the light fixtures that I use, they are incredibly powerful. I mean, they can shoot up 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet. I'm not kidding you. And so I would pick the right one. Like I say, we would do a computer model. The two different, if you looked in your book there, I have 2 different companies. One's Hydrel and one's Lumen Pulse. And like I had a model done of the horse. I brought him to the site. And that's probably what I would do with this too, is actually put the lights and see, what does it take to do that. But I totally, if these lights right here can do that well, that's pretty darn good for these little guys. I'm no problem with Hydrel or Lumen Pulse lights. They are, I mean, they do buildings. Las Vegas, they do 300-foot buildings. Yeah, you probably need to get smaller versions that aren't too bright. But one thing I did talk to Andre, I said, is there any problem with putting up lights? And he said, no, not at all. Right? So.
We haven't heard otherwise.
Well, that's important. Because other cities, you have those. You can't have night sky, you can't have, it has dark sky ordinance. So, but for what he told me, there's no problem with the height or with the lights there either, so.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So obviously we have a limited footprint, and so that was a consideration, I'm assuming, and why you selected one.
Yeah.
Maybe the other consideration too was, like you had mentioned in your presentation, is you wanted to kind of be like a beacon, right? A landmark. But would you ever consider more than one?
Not there. Not there. If I had the other site, you bet. The 83rd Avenue, I think it would be great to have a companion piece that was different than this one, but had the same idea, that it had a continuity, led you from one to the next. But no, not at all. Not for this budget, and also for the scale. This is a big piece, and it will be incredibly dynamic. And I did want to show you that during the day. That's why I didn't put it color. I wanted to make it neutral. I could have put it a pale blue or green. But to having it neutral like this, the colors will be super saturated, like I have them over there. They will be that kind of true. And also there's something kind of special and magical, gem-like, of having just, they're gonna look like glass pieces. I want you to understand that. They're gonna look very special, like gems that are up there, but shaped kind of like blooms. You know, that's really my intent. And so during the day, they're gonna be very pretty. They will be reflective. I don't think they'll blind you when you're driving your car or anything like that, but they'll be, at different angles, you'll see different reflections going on in there. Yeah. So yeah, it's for me, just one piece, absolutely.
I was just going to ask them about, some of them look pretty bright. I was going to ask about the reflections on drivers passing by.
Yeah, well, that I enhanced with Photoshop. I put a little bling to make it look a little brighter, you know. So I've moved it outside, and it sparkles. Yeah.
So it's still noticeable during the day.
Yeah. So sorry about these lights. I don't know what happened here to this thing. Ah, there's better. All right, well, anything else? I guess last thing I could say is I love the opportunity to build it. I think it'd be fantastic at that site.
Why don't we invite you just to step out, and then we can confer a little and have you step back in before we break down.
Oh.
Was that?
The ponds are going to be, are they going to be clear, or are they going to be like you showed us?
Yeah, why don't you again, you know, this is what this model's made out of, and you can see they're kind of faceted, but they're ground with a grinder. I mean, this took me hours just to laser cut them and then do that, you know.
They won't be clear.
No, they'd be like this. Yeah, they'd be frosted. I mean, this is really, if you want to just hold on to that, you can, because that's...
a chandelier piece.
That's what that is.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so I just didn't have time to make, I mean, this would be part of my artist's fee, is developing that's a really important part. So again, I might make 4 or 5 or 6 or who knows prototypes, put them together, see how they're going to work. And also one other thing I did think about is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cal Wall, where they put like a spun prismatic fiberglass, it's kind of floating type stuff. That might be something to put in there, which would even more refract the light, you know. So that's something I would play with. That's all in part of the creative process. This is kind of the bones. This is what it would look like generally, but then the details of that thing, which is really important, I'd spend a couple months probably developing that. Yeah. And would you have a timeline? I don't know if you had.
Well, I thought it would be useful, like I said, if we had a few minutes to discuss it.
No timeline to have it built.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I might have to confer and find out for you.
We start with like a
exactly.
baseline of 6 months, but it would,
Yeah.
we can negotiate with you on.
Okay. Oh, really? That's fairly quick. Good. That's nice. Because everything's there already. It's built, and yeah.
It's just a matter of moving the.
Okay. So you want me to step up?
If we come up with questions, I don't have to reach out to you later.
So did you hear the F-16s fly over? Yes. He was going like this. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. I saw him out the window. Like that. All right.
Good to go.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
You have a question.
Yeah.
As far as maintaining this piece,
Yeah.
what would be involved in that? Because I'm thinking the birds are going to love this piece.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's regular, dust summer sandstorms and stuff, that you're familiar with. How would you do that?
I mentioned in here that I would power washer because they can reach quite a distance. You might have to get a lift truck, but I think that's like when they do bus stops. Do you guys do that in Peoria now? You power wash a bus stop. You bring out a. Do they do that, or do they?
There's a normal rotation cycle, as I understand, to keep public art pieces in condition, right?
Yeah, so typically they would do it like twice a year if you need it 3 times a year, something like that. That's what they do on that piece. They get a power washer, and that piece is 40 feet long, and my horse 24 feet tall. So, and if they couldn't reach it again, they would just get a lift. and spray it. Yeah, because this stuff is very durable. It will wash off. That's the perfect way to do it. And also for the slab too. You know, if people gum and that kind of junk, you have to clean that stuff up. Yeah, yeah.